We're back from closed session with no reportable actions. We will now adjourn the closed session and we will open up the regular meeting in 5 minutes. We promise. Just want to take a quick break and then we'll be right back for the regular meeting. So we'll recess for 5 minutes, then we'll be back. Thank you, everyone.
I just needed.
City Clerk, just let me know whenever we're back online. Okay, With that, we will open the Selma City Council regular meeting at 6:12, July 19th, 2021. I want to thank everyone for their indulgence. We had kind of a longer executive session tonight. We are conducting this meeting in accordance with Governor Newsom's Executive Order N2920, which allows a local legislative body to hold public meetings via teleconferencing and to make public meetings accessible telephonically or otherwise electronically to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the local legislative body. Our teleconference phone number tonight is 1-301-715-8592. The ID is 858-7925-0667. The password is 93662. And I'm sorry, the password is 2021 for the city council. That's password 2021. Before we start tonight, could we all please have a moment of silence and bow our heads for two who were taken from us far too soon in our community, Bill Alves and Glenn Nicewander, who passed away recently. Could we bow our heads in a moment of silence, please? Okay, thank you for that. And with that, we'll have our invocation led by Pastor Lisa Satterberg from the Take It by Force Global Church Ministries. Is Pastor Satterberg here?
Yes.
Take it away, Pastor.
Yes. Father, our Lord, our God, we give you glory, praise, and honor. We thank you, God, for this day. We thank you for this time of gathering. Father, we thank you, Father, for the leaders that you have placed in place, Father, to bring forth strategic planning for the city of Selma. Father, we thank you for the blood of Jesus that covers every aspect of the meeting over this city. We thank you for a great season of advancement and increase, Father, as you are doing a great work. So we thank you that you fill every leader with the wisdom of God, Father, that they are brought forth in unity to fulfill what you have already brought forth, desiring for the city of Selma to be accomplished. We thank you. We honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You call the roll, please, City Clerk.
Councilmember Guerra,
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here, potential conflicts of interest. Any council member who has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing or voting on the matter. Oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council on any issue within its jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any items raised during oral communications. Items of interest may be referred to the city manager for further review. The public is asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Would anyone like to address the council at this time? And if so, please come forward and be heard. City Clerk, do we have anyone online who would like to address the council?
To the callers that we have online, this is a reminder. Please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Mayor Robertson, at this time, we have no raised hands.
Okay, thank you, City Clerk. With that, we'll ask Mike Kirshner to come up, the Director of Parks and Community Services, for our first special presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have one oral communications, and then we'll get to the special presentations.
My name's Victoria Delgadillo, 2029 Elton Street. I'm not privy to the entire understanding of these statistics of Chief Gomez and the chief before him. This is 5 years of crime here in the city of Selma. Assaults, 143. Homicides, rapes, 4. Robberies, 12. Robbery, strong arm, 12. Firearms, assault, 27. 13 dangerous weapons. 15 hands, fists, feet, aggravated. 86 simple, not aggravated. 40 burglary, breaking, entering. 40 forcible entry. 148 larceny, theft, except motor vehicle theft. 36 motor vehicle theft total. I can't read it, it's too small. Anyways, grand total 383. 381 the following year. 106 the following year. And it goes on and on and on and on. But if you look, when Chief Gomez is here, crime is down. Much, much lower. So when the crime is down, public safety is number one, right? Not right? Does anybody know? Right? Council?
Public safety's number one in my eye.
Thank you.
Number one.
You're with
One.
me. You're with me. That's why I support you. Thank you so much that you support crime being lower under Chief Gomez. I'm looking here further, and it shows all of the vehicles that have been recovered, lost,
Ms.
stolen.
Delgadillo, thank you. Your time is
My
up tonight.
son's vehicle got stolen 2 days ago.
Thank you for your
Thank you
comments.
very much.
Thank you for your comments and pressing on us the public safety importance. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that, we will have another oral communications.
Paula Rogers, citizen, City of Selma, all of my life. I just want to reiterate what I said in today's earlier meeting. We cannot afford to let public safety go down. We were finally on the right path. I'm not sure how each one of you guys feels about that, but I would hope if you represent the City of Selma, you know that we demand that you guys take care of our public safety. We can't take care of it ourselves, but you guys were elected to do that for us. And if you're there for any other reason, you need to step away and just recognize what you can't do. And we can vote somebody else back into your chairs. Another thing, we pay tax dollars here. We're hardworking citizens. We cannot afford to throw our tax dollars away. I don't know who develops your guys' contracts for human resources and hires people and puts stipulations in there that say they're going to get bought out when they leave. If you're truly letting people go because they don't do their job or they're doing something corrupt, then there should be some kind of clause that says we don't need to pay you. Because when we're still paying out former employees and putting interims in their seats and paying again at top dollar, then you're blowing our money. You're taking our tax dollars that should be used for other purposes and redirecting them in some venture of your own. I, as a citizen of Selma, I live here, I grew up here. You guys should all either live here, and if you don't live here, then make sure you have our city's best interest at heart. If you don't, please step away and recognize what you cannot do. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Would anyone else like to make a comment at this time?
Hello, my name is Robert Cervantes. One question, what is it going to cost to buy out the contract if we let him go? How much dollar signs we're looking at? And how much time he's still got left in the contract?
You mean the police chief? Is that
Yes.
correct?
The police chief.
That would certainly be a question for the city manager, who's in charge of the employees of the city of Selma.
Is he around?
He's right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is
I
oral
mean,
communication, so we
the
don't
reason
do
I,
response.
I
But
just-
if you would like to set up a meeting, Mr. Cervantes, with our interim city manager, absolutely, or perhaps email him or call him. Mr. City Manager, how would you like this citizen to contact you?
well, does the public know how much it's going to cost this taxpayers getting rid of this, the chief? I mean, I like to know, but I'm sure everybody behind me wants to know what's the cost.
Okay, so council, during public comments, you're not up here to comment and engage with the public. They can express, you can make minor comments. You've already directed this gentleman to contact the city manager or vice versa.
I
If
thought
you
this
would like to
The
have
gentleman can
agenda items,
continue.
you could certainly contact your
City
representative to have an
attorney, I
agenda item.
understand the protocol, but I thought this was an open to discuss about the firing of the chief. And it's simple. It's just a number. We want to find out what's going to cost. Last time it cost 150, 160,000 to get rid of a city manager. What are we talking now for get rid of our chief? Maybe I direct that question to you, city attorney, since you're laying the law here.
Okay, so the purpose of public comment, council, is to hear comments from the public, not to engage in conversation. It needs to be an agendized item if we're going to engage in conversation. So again, this gentleman can finish his 3 minutes and then you,
Mr. Cervantes, if you want to see that on an agenda,
Then I
you
can make
can-
an appointment with the new city interim city manager. How about tomorrow? What time would that work for you, sir?
I don't have my calendar here, but just, feel free to call Raina. She controls my calendar and we'll put you on the, and hopefully we can meet tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Cervantes. Would anyone else like to make a comment at this time? City Clerk, do we have anyone online who would like to make a comment?
As a reminder to the callers that we have on the line, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, or simply, if you're using the Zoom feature, please raise your virtual hand. At this time, Mayor Robertson, we have no callers raising the virtual hand.
Thank you. With that, we will move on to our special presentations with our Director of Parks and Community Services, Michael Kirschner. Our first special presentation will be on the Senior Meal Delivery Program Volunteer Recognition.
For those zooming in, my name is Mike Kirschner, Director of Recreation and Community Services, Mayor Robinson, and members of the City Council. Tonight, after a long 16, 17 months, I'd like to provide a presentation in recognition of the Senior Meal Delivery Program. I was in Long Beach at the CPRS conference till March 12th. Got a phone call from our previous city manager, and basically the state closed. So we came home that night, the 12th, and by the 13th, we were delivering meals to the seniors. And so all the way through June 16th, due to COVID-19, we did what we could, had to close the senior center doors amongst everything. The number of hours, meals, volunteers, businesses, organizations, etc., that assisted was very appreciative and made this a success. We have not talked to any other city in our size, in our area, that even come close to matching the numbers that you'll hear tonight. I know Tulare was averaging about 100. We were up to 285. We finished around 200. So those provide you the figures. I'd like to thank you for your time, assistance, and support throughout this entire program. The city, all the volunteers will be recognized tonight. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Liz Martinez, our recreation coordinator. She will go through a presentation, and then we'll ask those who are here to be recognized with a certificate. So Liz.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Liz Martinez. I am the Recreation Coordinator for those of you who don't know me and for those who are Zooming in tonight. So I'm here to give a presentation on the great services that we were able to provide for the last 15 months during the pandemic. So during this time, our main goal was to keep our senior citizens at home and safe and hopefully away from COVID-19. So I believe we did a great job, and you'll see in my presentation all the things that we offered and how we came about that and how our volunteers did such a great service for us. The purpose of this presentation is to show you how great the Selma community is. Number 2, to allow us to show our appreciation to our volunteers. And number 3, to recognize all those who donated their time, monetary donations, and even just simple items that kept us going. Without their support, without the support from our community, our senior meal program would not have been possible. So it really took a village to get this done. So as you can see from my presentation, these were a few things that we offered throughout the 15 months that we were shut down. So we delivered a lunch meal to about, at one point we were doing about 295. I think that's what we maxed out at, was about 295 seniors. That was in 295 homes. So a lot of them were couples, and so that did help with the deliveries. We started doing Monday through Friday. So we were delivering 5 days a week, which was a little hectic. And then we went down to 3 days a week. And then when we partnered with Selma Unified School District, we were able to do 1 day a week. And so that really alleviated a lot of our resources. So I also provided monthly newsletters. These newsletters were just a little pick me up for the seniors, giving them some information, keeping them, in touch with what I was doing and just kind of checking up on them. So we provided monthly newsletters. We also did a monthly Commodities event. So we are still partnered with the Central California Food Bank, and every month we provide groceries to seniors. And so what we did with Central California Food Bank was, with the help of a lot of our volunteers, we packaged all the groceries and we delivered to 200 households, but 250 households were served. So I had about 50 households that would pick up. And so that was the busiest day of the month. I had about 11 drivers that would come and help. And so I appreciate everybody for that. We did, it wasn't just me. We did 2 adopt a senior gift bags. So one took place in September 2020. That one was just a random idea that I had. I was like, I want to do something special for the seniors to remind them that we're still here, that we still care about them. And then we did one during Christmas time. And so it was a Christmas gift to them. And the response from the community for the Adopt a Senior was just incredible. We got a lot of support from a lot of people. So that was fantastic. I did a resource bag. So typically every year I hold a resource fair for my seniors. And so we could not do that in person. So I gathered a lot of resources from a lot of different insurance agencies and healthcare agencies and just anything that the seniors would need, put it in a bag, and we delivered those. So we did about 200 of those. Also, we received a lot of face masks and hand sanitizer donations from Fresno County, from Walmart, from Kaiser Permanente, and those were out the door as soon as we got them, just trying to ensure that the seniors were well protected and taken care of. We partnered with Selma Fire and United Health Centers, and we provided 2 vaccine clinics at the senior center, and we vaccinated, I want to say it was over 100 people within the 2 clinics. So that was a good success, especially because at the beginning, everybody was kind of lost, didn't want to go to the Fresno Fairgrounds. There's just so much going on. So being able to provide it closer to home was good. We also did some drive-through events. So for Valentine's Day, we provided goodie bags. It was just a drive-through event. We decorated outside the senior center. Same thing for St. Patrick's Day. Java Express actually donated some coffee, so we did coffee and donuts. We also held a walking class at the Selma High School. So we were able to take advantage of the new stadium, which was really good for our seniors, and we would walk twice a week. So that was a lot of fun. Kept me going as well. And then we provided a safe shelter during the heat wave this last summer. So even though the pandemic was still taking place, we still offered a place for seniors to come and get away from the heat, socially distanced. All right, so Raina, if you can, oh, thank you. So really the main reason why we're here is because the senior meal delivery program was just the biggest project that we took on. From March 13, 2020 to June 16th, 2021, that was our last delivery day. That was 15 months of constant deliveries, of constant volunteering from our community, from our city staff coming together and helping and just making sure that our seniors were well taken care of. We delivered a total of 52,025 meals. 52,025 meals. I may be off by a number or two. I mean, it was hard to keep track of everything. Food was just going out the door constantly. So I'm so proud of that number. I don't think that one's ever gonna go away. I'm just always gonna remember that number. So on a daily, our lunch deliveries consisted of 5 routes. And so MV Transportation, thank you so much. They always took on 2 routes. And so they just made my life so much easier. So it was always trying to find 3 extra helping hands. So thank you, MV. And then once a month, like I said, we delivered groceries to 200 households, but about 50 extra people would come by and pick up. And then the SEVA organization, so Selma Embarking and Volunteering Voluntary Actions, provided many meals for us as well during the pandemic. So when they were doing the community feeds, they were also feeding our seniors. So thank you, SEVA. And then we also purchased the meals from some of our local restaurants like Denny's, Cho's Kitchen, Rosa's Pizza, Chicago Pizza with a Twist. And so appreciate all our businesses. And then the next slide is just a few pictures, some faces you may recognize. So we have Dory receiving one of our Adopt a Senior gifts, and then Mike's truck was completely full the day we went and picked up breakfast from Denny's. I think we ordered about 200 and something meals that morning. I felt so bad for the staff. They were just busy. And then other pictures of our drive-throughs and another senior receiving a Adopt a Senior item, and then our vaccination that took place. Next slide. And these are the names of the individuals that helped me on a daily basis, not just me, our community. A lot of these individuals are here tonight, and they will be receiving a certificate of appreciation from us. Again, just so grateful for everybody that came together. It really takes a village to get things done. Me and Mike would not have been able to do it on our own. It just really took a lot of planning and organizing to get everything done that we did. And so we'll get back to everybody on that list. If you can go to the next slide. We received a lot of monetary and item donations. And so these are just a few. There's actually another slide. And that goes to show that our community is just so great and willing to work together and so helpful. And again, from the bottom of our hearts, we're very appreciative. The list is long. If I were to name everybody on that list, we'd be here for a lot longer. So as you can see, it's on the board. If your name is on the list, we greatly appreciate you. If it wasn't on the list, there's still ways to contribute. If you would like to contribute, I always accept help. So our senior center is open and thriving at this time. We were full for bingo last week, and this week, everyone's coming back and eating. It's been so great. I actually called my boyfriend the other day and I was just like, do you hear that? And he said, what? I was like, there's noise. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. So it's just so exciting to have everybody back and just be back. So with that, I will end my short little presentation. I am so proud. I'm so proud of our staff. I'm so proud of our community. I don't know of any other city that accomplished what we did in the time that we did. And it just goes to show that we are definitely better together. Thank you. So to finish this off, I would like to recognize some of the volunteers that are here. So if you would come up, Mayor and Council, if you guys would come down, maybe.
Well, what we're gonna do is they're gonna come around,
Sure.
right? And then we'll take a picture when everybody
We'll take a
comes
picture at
around.
the end. Okay, so if I call your name, maybe just come down so that you can be seen, and then stand on this side so that we can get a large group picture. So MV Transportation. Just go around. Yep, just go around. Teresa and Anthony Herrera. Renee and Brandon Shoemaker. Denise Sandoval and her family. Christine Larona. Angelica and Fernando Moran. Marisol and Francisco Rios. Lori and Richard Linder. Tanya Frost, she's not here tonight. Elizabeth Garza and her family. I believe she's not here. Kristen Peterson. Ken Robinson. Bob and Mary Allen and their secretary, Myra. Rosa Kirchner.
Everybody.
Anthony Montijo, he's not here tonight. Chris Ambrose, I believe he's not here either. The Franco family. Selma Fire Department. The Selma Police Department. Selma Public Works. The Fresno County ACT team. I know Caleb is here. City Hall staff. The Selma Arts Center. The Selma Arts Council. The SIVA organization. And Dustin Fletcher, who's not here tonight. I'd
We
like to say
get a
just
picture.
because your name wasn't called does not mean I did not appreciate you. And I'm so sorry if I missed somebody. This year has really been hectic. And so keeping track of everything, I'm doing my best. So thank you, thank you, thank you all.
Would anyone like to get a picture?
One more real quick.
Okay.
Before the picture. Very proud of the staff. I know it's always awesome to recognize volunteers. Thank you guys. But throughout this whole ordeal, recreation staff stepped up to the plate. And so I want to recognize Emily Dixon, our part-time recreation aide and arts aide. Nicolette Anderson, our recreation supervisor. Liz Martinez, our recreation coordinator. Obviously, we get paid. It's our job. But sometimes employees like these three step up to the plate, and there was no negative feedback. They understood what was happening. Whether you disagreed or agreed with everything that's happening, they just stepped up and did their job. I always joke that during this whole period, I miss my old headaches. So for city council, you read my weekly reader a couple weeks ago. The guys arguing in the pool room, the seniors booing when somebody won bingo because they only have one number left. Just the noise, it's
Yeah.
great. So I want to make sure we're glad to be open, but to thank these three too,
Glad you're
along
open.
with all the volunteers. So thank you.
Thank you.
And if city council would like to stand, we can get a photo this time.
Anybody want to scooch?
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. You embody the spirit of Selma, the giving spirit, and all of us pulling together during tough times, which we saw this weekend, by the way, as an aside, when an older gentleman was missing, and the town really got together through social media, through the PD, and everyone came out and looked. Unfortunately, it was a sad conclusion, but the city did come out and came together during times of need, just like the city came together during times of COVID. Really impressive how we pull together regardless of factions and that kind of thing. And with that, we'll move on to our second special presentation, which is the Selma Little League 50-70 Intermediate Team Recognition. And Mike Kirshner is up for, all right. And I could say I was fortunate enough to go out with Police Chief Gomez and Fire Chief Peterson and throw out the first pitch. And, you know, my pitch made it over the plate. It did bounce after the plate. I thought the catcher had called for a breaking ball. I really did. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a hot day. And just to see the parents that came out and the enthusiasm for our Selma team was amazing. What an honor to have Selma as a venue for this baseball tournament. That just doesn't happen. And it happened because of the excellence of our Selma baseball team, ages 11 to 13. So we're really making great strides, not only in our volunteerism, but also in our sports and in our curriculum, and especially in our baseball, which really showed last weekend. Okay. We didn't have enough room for him. There he is. All right. Everybody come on in.
So zooming in again, it's Mike Kirshner, Recreation and Community Services Director. I just want to take this time to introduce the Selma Little League President, Mike Castillos. The tournament, as he'll go through, was July 10th through July 16th. And I do want to side note to the economic impact that this had was very good on the hotels, restaurants, and stores. So something like this that brought people in the town did very well. I just wish it wasn't 111 Saturday, 112 on Sunday.
Yes.
Like the hottest day of the year, the tournament
So we
starts.
try to tell people this wasn't traditionally Selma, but with that, I'd like to introduce Michael. We'll kind of explain the tournament and then introduce the players.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson and council members. My name is Michael Bastillos, the president of Selma Little League. I want to thank you for having your District 10 and Section 7 champions here tonight as your guests. These young men played some amazing baseball this season, not just to show up through these doors tonight and show off their mom's abilities to get white jerseys white. They were told
Which are pretty formidable, by the way.
They were told to stay inside last season and not come out until it was safe to do so. When Selma Little League finally got the green light, these boys made up for some lost time. They played tough and they never gave up. And most importantly, they played for the name on the front of their jersey rather than the name on the back. In an age group that is characterized by self-images, Fortnite skins, or the color of their poppets, this group of young men formed a Selma team and the town was pulling for. They put on a show every time they were on the field. And for all of us in the stands that have witnessed them since the mini minors, it was truly a magical and a time for us to remember. It's also a time for us to see how fast it's gone, and how proud of us in the baseball community have been of you. These boys have made history. The banners that they have won at each level will be forever flown at our snack bar whenever our board rolls out all the magic of the banners at any of the opening day ceremonies. That would be our District 10 champions, and they will also write their names on them. So when they're older and have kids and their kids have kids, they can come out and see those. They will have the District 10 and Section 7 championships. Not only did they play in those, but also the state tournament of 2021 that they hosted, and for the first time in Selma history, they played in. This is truly a great season for these boys, the coaching staff. They made it a great comeback season for us at Selma Little League that we will forever remember. Special thanks to the board members that gave their all this season, all the sponsors that made this event in the city of Selma a one to remember, all the community members that gave their all, and all the community members in the city of Selma that support Selma Little League. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Tyler Gray.
And when you come around here so we can get a picture with the city council. Come around here, starting at the
Benjamin
right.
Machaca. Matthew Luna. Joseph Honest. Albert Marietta. Liam Martinez. Jaden Apodaca. Panda. Noah Ortega. Emmanuel Alanis. Charlie Fino. Mike Casares. Dallas Luna. John Bertrand. Sean Hernandez. Nico Torres. Coaching staff, Dan Casares. Coaching staff that's not here tonight, Enrique Luna, and head coach, manager, Justin Bertrand.
All right, let's get a picture. Council, would you like to stand? Wants to come up? Come on up, take pictures. Big. All right. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations on a great season. Way to go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Congratulations.
Great job.
And in tradition with Little League and pin ceremonies, we have our state pins that we were going to present to each council member in honor of our tournament that we hosted. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you for that. You do us proud. Very proud of you all. Good job. Got a couple when I was throwing out the pitch, so I'm good. Did he get one? Okay, with that, we will move on to the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion roll call vote. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have any item from the consent calendar taken off and placed back on the regular agenda. Council will then vote on the remainder of the consent items. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendar. Does council have any items they would like to remove tonight from the consent calendar?
I'd like to pull C and D.
I'd like to pull H.
Like to pull A.
I would like to pull item H. Did you pull H? Okay. Okay. And actually, I'd like to pull, items A and C as well. Okay, we'll start with item A.
That me, was that you?
I think that was, I'm not sure.
You tied, maybe? So I had a question on this. Is it time sensitive? Is there a time sensitivity on this agreement?
A little bit. If the item was delayed, the Fresno County is waiting for us, for the city council to approve it so that the board of supervisors can approve it as well after we've signed it. If it's delayed, it won't go back to the board of supervisors until October, which sets us back about 4 months.
Okay, and so I had a question. Is there a steering committee for this, this business improvement district? I think there was, right?
For the bid, there's one being formed. I'm not sure if it's been fully established yet.
Okay, so how do you have to be a business owner on there? Are there any restrictions? How are they voted into the committee?
So I think right now the formation committee is deliberating about whether to make it a business-oriented district or a property-based, which means the property owners would mostly be on the committee. That hasn't been determined. I think where the committee is going because of the funding and the time restrictions is a business improvement district, which would mean that the business owners themselves would be part of, but I don't think they've voted on which specific business owners have yet, are going to be forming the steering committee.
I just know that we have three. Well, I don't know if Chose is a part of downtown, but
Yes,
all of
it's
them are
part of the
business
district.
owners. And so I have a little bit of a concern
Sure.
because, if they're going to be part of the steering committee, it's really a big concern for each one of them to be any one of them to be on the committee. So I just want to make sure that I voice that concern. And especially, if they're going to be holding positions that are like a president, secretary, what have you. So that was one of my concerns. And then, so the owners are going to be the ones that are going to have the input on what is,
No, that hasn't been determined. It's
Okay.
probably going to be the business owners, just given where the funding is coming from, the timeline. The project is lending itself more towards a business improvement district, which means the business owners themselves would be the ones driving it. Mhm.
those were just my concerns.
Okay.
Thank you.
When you state that the business owners will be they'll be at the stake, will this presentation, I know they've been having meetings, I know, I own Max's Brunch House Cafe. I own a business downtown. That's not, but I've decided not to participate. I think I talked to you about that, right?
Yep, I
And I
remember.
wanted all the business owners to feel comfortable in giving their input without feeling that there's a council member there. And so I stayed back but the question I have for you is, when this committee and this is present to the county and is brought back to the city, will the city council at the end of the day be funding this program?
It will not be the city council that's funding it.
Okay, that's one. Will the board in the organization be bringing recommendations to allocate some kind of taxing to the downtown business owners, actual business owners like myself, the Robertsons, they own that building. I own the building. Will we be taxed, and will the renters be allocating some of the tax? Or are they making a decision that will end up coming back and talking to the actual owners?
Yeah, in general, the city itself will not be involved. If assuming it's a business improvement district, only in the sense that it'll be a pass through and an administrator of the funding. So the businesses will have to pay as part of their business license. So it would basically be an add-on to their business license. But there have been concerns expressed with regard to if it becomes a property-based improvement district, about whether that cost that's incurred by the property owners is passed along to the business owners themselves. Again, that hasn't been determined, and I did want to clarify that the funding that we're talking about in this agreement is only with regard to, most of it is for the downtown strategic plan. There's a small amount going towards the bid, but that's for the final formation once the steering committee has decided, what the rules are going to be, whether it's going to be a business improvement district or a property-based improvement district. And I think there's about $7,000 allocated for that purpose. But I hope I answered your question, that the
Yeah,
business owners
you did,
themselves.
you did.
Okay.
But there is $7,000 of tax-paying dollars allocated to this fund.
To form the bid, correct.
Okay.
I believe there's TOD money allocated to forming the business improvement district. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Community
So
Development Director?
there's two sources of funding that we're using for the bid specifically right now. This is the smaller portion. The TOD grant is the smaller portion. We also received a grant from USDA to do the process that we're going through right now to determine which way we're going to go with the district. That's in the region of $40,000 to $50,000. That's mostly being utilized for that purpose.
And as someone as someone noticed, a business owner downtown and a building owner, Council Member Guerra and I have a vested interest in that. And we've been to most of the meetings, all of the meetings except for the last one. And we don't introduce ourselves as our city position. We introduce ourselves as downtown business owners, building owners, and weigh in as such. And I would encourage anyone who has questions about the process to actually attend the meeting. And those are Thursdays between 8 or 8:30. The last one was at 8 a.m. with which is conducted by Jan Manami, who also worked on the downtown improvement districts for the city of, I believe, Visalia and Kingsburg and Reedley.
Fresno and
Fresno.
a few around the
Yeah,
valley.
yeah. And so this is grant money, but really important for folks who want to see their downtown grow and be revitalized. This is an excellent first step, and definitely encourage. And those meetings are at the Fire Resource Center, I believe.
Correct. And those are every other Thursday. And I think the next one on July 29th is going to start at 8:15.
Are those available in the evenings, or because I'm sure most of the citizens work at 8 o'clock in the morning and not able to attend? So are those going to be available for, people that aren't able to get there during that time because of work?
I think that schedule was set by the folks who attended the initial meetings, and they decided that that time worked for the business owners and property owners. If somebody attends and proposes a different time, I'm sure. I'm not personally attending the meetings anymore because, we don't want too many city staff, involved in the process. It's going to be mostly a business owner and property owner driven process, but anyone really is welcome to attend. I know Jan is looking to garner as much participation from business owners and property owners as possible.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody here tonight have any questions about that agenda item? Okay. City Clerk, do we have anyone online who would like to weigh in on item A of the consent calendar?
Oh, do we have two hands raised?
I do apologize, I misspoke. There's $10,000 allocated for the bid for this TOD grant.
And that's only for a BID, not a PBID, a Property Business Improvement District. We'll do it all at once tonight because we have so many that got pulled out. Just do it all at once. City Clerk, do you think we should just move forward with the next item and we can come back to those folks on Zoom who would like to weigh in or folks on the phone? Okay. So why don't we move on? We'll move on to item.
Allow them to speak.
Oh, okay. Are they ready?
To the callers that we have on the line, your line is open. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name. We'll start with Mr. Stephen Oakworth. Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Andrew Procope. Okay, Mayor Robertson, maybe we can move on.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will move on to Councilman Trujillo, who had items C and D.
In regards to C, Isaac, is there a rush on this one here? Can we move this to?
For this one, this is for the $10,000 for the transit stops.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an actual rush. It's already been executed by their board. So if you want to put some time, we could potentially push that a little bit. I'd have to actually speak to Moses.
Actually,
Issue.
I actually wanted to see if I could actually table, this is my own belief, if I could table C and D. I have a couple of questions in regards, and we can probably talk about it later, if it's okay with council, but.
We have the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency Director here. If you have any questions you would like answered.
Well, it actually doesn't pertain to the actual director. It pertains to when I started looking into some in regards to the actual, it pertains to our staff and what we were doing in regards to some of the information that pertains to the maintenance facility and things like that. So, my question is also if I could extend it.
I wanted to bring you up to date on this matter because I know of your concern about it.
Caller, we'll get back to you. Hold on. We'll get back to you, okay?
Said that you would withdraw these.
All right, we are having some technical difficulties here, so.
Do not plan to invade Cuba. We
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep chugging along here. City Clerk, we'll get back to this caller, but for right now, let's follow through on Councilman Trujillo's issues. And what are they? What do you?
Well, I asked Ozzy, he said it was okay, so.
Yeah, if he wants to, we can meet about it again on a different day.
These include charges of illegal activity
question if we
during
need
and
to push it out.
preceding
Okay, well,
election.
I pulled them off too, and I'm gonna ask the FCRT.
And officials
and talk about it.
participated in efforts to
Okay, City Clerk, can we block that caller for right now until we come back to oral communications on that topic? Okay. With that, I'll pull my items, which were the same ones as Councilman Trujillo, along with the check register, C&D. And I welcome Moses Stites, the director of the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency, to discuss those.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. My name is Moses Stites, General Manager for FCRTA. We have before you the 30 Services Agreement. And this is an agreement that FCRTA doesn't really have to do. All our people have to do is call 911. Really, this is more of a community-based, established several years ago. And we did this because it's a lot more cost-effective for us to enter into an agreement with all the cities, incorporated cities, rather than for us to hire law enforcement. And you have before you this agreement, which is really a collaborative effort between the city department and FCRTA. And what it does is really establishes a network of community-based policing where the residents, passengers, have visibility to the law enforcement. There's no enforcement issues per se. It's more of a perception of being available. They board, not pull them over. They don't do any eyes. They don't do any image. Out of the ordinary. It's more of a collaborative effort. And the cities that we enter this into, it works out quite well. But it's definitely your prerogative if you do not want to enter into it. Effort for both entities. Defer it, you're going to miss out on probably 1 or 2 months of reimbursement because effective July 1st. The further we get into this, our FCRTA board's dark in August, so we won't bring it back to our board, depending on very valid. And again, your prerogative. So you're going to miss out on 3-4 months of possible reimbursement. And if you choose to not go through with this agreement, again, that's your prerogative again. We just call 911 and we go about our business. Other questions?
That was, okay, so that was C. Did you wish to discuss the fleet vehicle maintenance services
I
agreement?
can, and I believe Councilmember Trujillo had.
My questions were answered. They were not pertaining to they were pertaining to our staff reports.
Okay.
It doesn't have nothing to do with the actual, I have no problem with it, but I have a question or concerns in regards to the past, operations or that the city staff has gone through, and I want to just have questions.
Okay, sure.
Has nothing to do with the organization. I appreciate the organization. I've always supported it, but I've been privy and I've been looking at some information and I have questions with our staff. That has nothing to do with the organization.
So let me give you a brief overview of the agreement before you for the maintenance facility. We just did this September for August. It'll be 3 years that FCRTA has entered into an agreement with the City of Selma for the services of maintenance. FCRTA owns approximately 128 vehicles, and the reason I approximate is we have some in order. And these vehicles are of CNG, electric vehicles, and gasoline. And the vehicles have to be maintained on a 30 and 45-day interval, and also with an annual terminal inspection. All critical for our operations, serving all 13 cities. FCRTA is in the process of Selma, right around the corner, opposite the City of Selma, or Selma Unified School District, rather. And we thought this would be a good opportunity for FCRTA to partner with the City of Selma for personnel services. FCRTA pays for the parts directly, no out-of-pocket expenses for the city. And we think it's a good collaboration between FCRTA. Have before you an opportunity to that agreement up to 4 years on 1-year intervals. If you look at that attachment of the exhibit, that was what was submitted by the City of Selma back when we went out to RFP, request for proposal. Had several bidders. City of Selma was one of the expected bidders, and FCRTA staff chose the City of Selma, excuse me, based on the long-term plans. They're looking at approximately $3.7 million over the course of the next 3 years for the City of Selma, just for the reimbursement of the personnel. That's the only expense the City of Selma has, are the personnel. FCRTA pays for everything else. We pay for the building lease, we pay for the internet, we pay for the telephone, we pay for the uniforms. We essentially pay for everything except the person.
And I have noted in the last several years of the budget, the FCRTA has put $200,000 to $300,000 a year in the general fund from this, the FCRTA, this agreement between the FCRTA and the city and the maintenance fund. Also, not to say the employees who've come to Selma and are living in Selma and purchasing things and contributing to the economy here.
That's correct.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a proposal that I'll go ahead and not pull these items, but as long as I get a firm commitment from our finance director / assistant manager that, and I'll give you one, just, if you could give me the appraisals that were appraised on the property that was sold to this company, that's one. Number two, any contracts that were through on the sale of this property that the city owned. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I know when I'm our representative as the mayor on the Council of Governments, and I proudly voted for both of these. The 10,000 is in effect free money to the city for nothing in return. And then the maintenance facility is going to benefit our town and make us a transportation hub. So I'm firmly 100% behind that. And I thank the FCRTA director, which we did win this in a competitive contest with the cities of Fowler and Kingsburg to have that maintenance facility located here, and really proud that our Selma staff came through and won that in conjunction with the FCRTA.
And with one other private sector firm as well.
Thank you for that as well, and all the jobs that created, bringing that to Selma, as well as a building owner, a business owner here who was able to lease out their building to that transportation sector.
Moses, I have a question for you. You said it would generate how much million?
Approximately $3.7 million
Okay.
item. And that basically is reimbursement to the City of Selma for their personnel costs. City of Selma has no other out-of-pocket
expenses. Okay.
When FCRTA proceeds to build on the remaining approximately 9.5 acres right around the corner, we have 4 parcels. Parcels around that industrial circular area there, and then the one next to Glacier are going to parcels, and subject to FCRTA reviewing that arrangement on a year-to-year basis up to 4 years. Basically transfer that process right now of RFQ, request for qualifications for the respective bidders of a general contractor, architect, and engineering services. Once we confirm those, then the top three will be selected. They will be given a request for proposal to submit bids on the development of that maintenance facility, which right now is opposed at $10.2 million, right there in that industrial. Two of those parcels were from private firms, and that other parcel was from the city of Selma through the art.
Thank you.
Did anyone else have any questions tonight on this topic on the consent calendar? City Clerk, did anyone on the phone have any questions about these items?
To the callers on the line, as a reminder, please use *9, or if calling using Zoom, please raise your virtual hand.
And those will be items C and D.
Mayor Robertson, we have no one with their hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Director Stites, thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate your time and
Great.
everything
Thank
you
for
do
your
for our
time. We
city.
look forward to the collaboration with the city of Selma. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Trio, did you have any other items? Okay. So I had another item that would be the check register, item H. Page 6, bottom of the page. 77631, Liebert Cassidy Whitmore. That would be legal fees for March and April of I'm sorry, I can't read that. Is that 58 or 68,000?
58
Okay, legal fees of 58,121.
for 2 months, correct.
And what do they do? What kind of issues do they go through for the city again?
There are personnel attorneys.
Personnel issues. Okay. Is that more than we usually get, or is that about right these days?
About right for these days.
Okay,
yes.
that's about what the city's getting charged, and that's for 2 months.
That is for 2 months, that's correct.
Okay, average of 29,000 a month for personnel issues. Is that correct? Okay.
I have one. Isaac, check number 77632 for Lozano and Smith Legal Services for May 20 of 21 for $35,455.85. And that's just for 1 month.
That's correct.
My concern is, did we budget enough in the council? I mean, in the budget for our legal counsel? Because we agreed for 24 to pay this is way over. You're talking 35,000, that's over what we agree to pay.
But we did budget and increase that budget this coming cycle to try and make up for some of this factor. Obviously, the bills are still a little bit high. We are still assessing those things and make sure we manage that service appropriately.
I have a
Okay, and then
question.
bottom,
Oh,
what, just one more. 77633, Jan Manami, Business Improvement District, a charge of 5,800. Now that's a G next to that.
Because it was funded by a grant.
Right, and I think we were just discussing the grant that actually funds that. Is that
Well, it
correct?
was
The
a piece of
TOD
it.
and the USDA?
That's it. As Community Development Director pointed out, there's 2 funding sources
Okay,
and both of them are grants.
and that's for the downtown business improvement district that is not costing the taxpayers a dime, but is costing business owners their time, their interest, their energy to come up with creative ideas on how to make our downtown a better place and to make our city a better place to live and work. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions on the check register?
I have a question in regards to the legal fees. Walk me back through our budget session. We discussed the fact that when we did preliminary numbers for the 2020 and 2021, we talked about a word called forecasting. We forecast because we understand that there are legal ramifications from our council members that the last 2-3 years have done decisions that are still being carried out that we don't understand the cost. So we forecast in a budget, correct?
Correct.
And we understand that we got this city attorney that just came in. And can you imagine how many personnel issues we had in the past because of the council's decisions in the past years that this council legal attorney has to review, correct?
When we do forecast, we do put that analysis
Forecast that
together so that
analysis.
we can forecast.
And we
into our
did
budget.
forecast and we went with a really big lump sum. We all talked about it and said, hey, this is it. But we understood the reason why this forecast was so wide and so large was because we understand that there was legal ramifications for the previous years that we're carrying back. And it's going to keep on because we don't understand. We don't know the reality of how much it costs us when we make a decision in the past that it keeps on creeping up. And we have personnel issues that we've had for the previous years. And that's the reason why we have these increases. But do we see, can we go back, and I'm asking you, go back and do analysis on the past 2 months, 3 months and see if, if the bleeding is going to stop or it's going to keep on, because we will have to be adjusting our forecasting.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
I do have a question. So I was going back on the contracts that I had requested, with their expiration dates and all of that. And I see we have 3 that are coming up in 2021. And 2 of them actually expired in June of 2021. And in the contracts, I didn't see any language in there that said that they would go to a month-to-month basis. And so I'm just wondering, one of them is 77596 for the Second Chance Animal Shelter. They're getting paid for July, but the contract expired June 30th. Where are we at with renewing that contract?
We're actually in negotiations with them right now. I think I have a meeting set this week to get that finished out to bring that contract back.
Because I didn't see any language in there that said that it was a month-to-month basis after June. It explicitly said it ended in June.
I
June
will have to look
30th,
into that
so-
contract.
And then there was, like I said, there's like 10 of them that I saw in here that expired this year. And so I just wanted to see, this was part of one of the requests I had. Also, I wanted to know who was on the board of anything that we have contracts with. If there's any board members, I'd like to know. Okay, thank you.
Will those requests be coming to us?
I can send them to the
Yeah.
council as a whole.
I can let you know. There's a board member here for the Second Chance Animal Shelter right here.
But city's giving money, so I just want to make sure that
City is paying money based on services provided.
Let's keep it.
Exactly. So, thank you.
Okay. Did council have any other questions on the check register? Would anyone like to weigh in on the check register in the public? Please come forward.
Victoria Delgadillo. I'm appalled that you would have anything to say about the animal shelter. What about your legal fees that we have had to foot? You shouldn't have even gotten an attorney in the first place. What's the matter with you? Use your brain, for crying out loud. You don't need an attorney to even go into something. You had no right to get an attorney and then put the bill on us. 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. How long are we going to be paying your fees? How dare you? How dare you bring up our animals? This shelter, we need this shelter in our city. That animal shelter takes care of God's creatures. How dare you? Scott is right there in front of your eyes. Don't you dare do that again. How dare you talk to the public about, cut it out. Grow up. How dare you? You don't even have the ability to think and use your brain properly. He is right in front of you. Talk to him. Cut it out. I am sick and tired. We have more important things in this city, and you're worried about some contract that is not It's in the revision stage, for crying out loud. Be concerned about you and the cost that you are causing this city. You did not win that election. There were
Mayor,
370
the comments should be
votes.
for the agenda item.
370 votes.
The comments should be tailored to the agenda item.
Oh, it is to the agenda item. This woman brings up the shelter. The shelter,
Please keep your comments on the check register.
the
Ms. Del Gavillo.
shelter takes care of all of our animals, all of our cats, all of the police department's animals. And they don't charge them. They're doing a free service to our canines, our officers that protect me and protect all these people. How dare you do that to us? This is our money. It's not yours. Do you understand? You will not spend our money illegally. That is a crime. It violates lots of laws and statutes. It is illegal.
Mayor, the comments need to be tailored to this agenda item.
The animals are important in
Thank you,
this
Ms. Del
city.
Gavillo. Thank you. Thank you. for your
Thank you
comment.
kindly.
I just want to say quickly, since we're talking about
Bring your
contracts.
name up again. Your
Rose
address.
Robertson, 1057 Mill Street. And it's just unfortunate that we have people that, unfortunately, the council members that want to bring up contract. It's always been transparent. One thing you're going to learn about when I ran for the Selma Healthcare District, it was a fight to put that and make that be transparent and have a website for that. But eventually we got that. Everything's been transparent. We've been transparent with the second chance, with the city, with the citizens. It's open book. It's open to the public, the meetings. Unfortunately, you've never attended one of those meetings, but you know, we get it. It's political. You go after anything that's done correctly. Anybody who does their job correctly in this city and they connect with the citizens,
register,
because
please.
that's all they
Thank you,
need,
Mayor.
they go after them. So let's make it very clear. We are talking about the budget. She brought up the check number for Second Chance Animal, and I'm allowed to speak about it. Anybody who does their job here in the city, they will go after you, but just document everything and we'll make sure that things will be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else like to have input on the check register at this time?
Jim Avalos, 1701 Dinuba
And
Avenue.
any comments on the shelter are relevant because they are on the check register, city
Correct.
attorney. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little history about the dog shelter, okay, guys? And being on the council in the past, we had a dog shelter out there unfortunately, out in the country, and it was very devastated for the animals. Unfortunately, it was not well, how would I say it, taken care of, okay, guys? It was very abusive for the animals out there. And then in the past, we made a decision to move forward and put the shelter in the town of Selma. And the animal shelter right now is considered to be number one in the valley, because all the shelters in the area look at Selma shelter. You know why? Because they're run very smoothly, and their bookwork, can't complain about the work. They're transparent. You can't find another dog shelter in the area running that smooth and rescue these animals without killing them. If anybody's an animal lover, or cats and dogs or whatever they have growing up, they understand about animals. They become part of your family. And when you become part of your family, you do everything you can to achieve that your family. So animals are in the same category as people, because they're like animals. They're like, they bond human beings, and they're good therapy for people, especially the elderly people, the kids, teenagers. It's a proven fact. And right now, some animal shelter is doing a fantastic job. in the valley. Other animal shelters are actually looking at these things at a magnitude to learn from this, you know, and I got to commend the shelter itself over the years, being in a past council. Hey, it's number one. You can't beat it. And that's all I got to say, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Like to make a comment at this point? Well, since you brought up the animal shelter, I would also mention that this shelter is current on the registry of charitable trusts with the state. It files its taxes and its paperwork on time, and it's also a no-kill animal shelter, by the way. And the shelter is absolutely full right now because it's kitten season. So if anybody needs a kitten, I would urge them to go tomorrow and adopt and get some dogs. And with that, we'll bring it back to the check register. Does anyone have any other issues on the check register tonight? City Clerk, do we have any, anybody online or on the phone?
As a reminder to the callers that we have on the line, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, or if you're using the Zoom application, please raise your virtual hand. Mayor Robertson, we have no callers on the line wishing to speak on this item.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will bring back all the consent items
Make a
for a
motion.
vote. Is there a
A
second?
through H.
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes, and that was a pretty intense check register. So if we will take a 5-minute break and we'll come back for the final 2 agenda items tonight in the meeting.
Okay, to my panelists on the line, can we do just a really quick test? I know I'm trying to allow Jose Moreno and Kiana to speak. I just want to do a quick test to make sure that y'all can speak and that you can hear me and I can hear you okay. Jose, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to promote you to a panelist and it won't allow me to. So I don't know if it's just an update on your side that needs to be done, but I know I was able to promote everyone else to a panelist. So I'm not sure what's going on.
I got it now. I accepted it.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Kiana, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. And I think I see Selena and I see Serena and Brandy and I see everyone else on the line. So I just want to make sure y'all can hear me okay.
Yes, thank you, Raina.
Perfect, thank you. I
Yes, I can
wanted
hear
to
you.
take the opportunity. Perfect. I wanted to take the opportunity while we're on a break to make sure we can do something, we can be able to test the audio. Also, I have the photo or the, forgive me, the visual up ready to go. So you just let me know when it's ready to place on the screen and I can
Okay.
go ahead
Yeah.
and do that.
Okay, yeah. I guess you can show it whenever they start. If that's
Perfect. Okay.
that'll be fine.
Perfect. Will do. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Thanks Raina.
Yeah, me and Virginia went Saturday morning. It's great. Think so. Nice. Yep. I heard that. They said that LA, all the masks came back already.
Okay, is everybody ready to get started again? Everybody go ahead and take their seats. And with that, we will move on to our first item on the regular agenda tonight. Consideration and necessary action to approve the 559 mural project painting on the Salazar Center. Report, please.
Mike Kirschner, Recreation and Community Services Director. For those zooming in, Mayor Robinson, members of the City Council. The 559 Mural Project has submitted an application for consideration of a mural to be placed on the Salazar Center. You might remember most recently, they just completed a mural on the La Estrella Market on Whitson Avenue. Just a quick report update regarding the city's mural application and policy. Typically, the mural application allows for Arts Council to review and approve a mural, but because the Salazar Center is owned by the city, this application requires City Council approval as the governing board of the city. Tonight, the 559 Mural Project would be seeking approval to authorize the city manager to execute the application and the mural can begin. The Arts Council did recommend approval of the mural and poem at the July 6th special meeting. It was understood, though, that the Arts Council could not waive from the policy. Only City Council has that authority. To reflect back, the mural application states once approved, no modifications may be made to the mural unless reviewed and approved by the Arts Council. In this case, the 559 Mural Project, based on the staff report, is requesting some considerations and modifications be done during the mural based on what I copied from their email. Finally, just a point to point out too is when you waive a policy for one, make sure you understand that you may need to waive this policy in all future applications, just a consideration. And also in addition, since this is a city-owned building, there is an argument that the poem and the mural is a position or statement of the city. Those are just comments to relate to council for consideration. With that, the 559 Mural Project representatives are online and they will be providing a report, and also we'll have the mural up on the screen. I do want to make sure you understand the staff report. They have stayed in contact and informed Carlos Salazar and the family, and they just felt that was something we needed to do since the Salazar Center is named after the father, and just to let them be informed. So he has supported it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will turn to the muralists tonight for their presentation. Do you have something for us at this point?
Yes, hi, good evening. Thank you so much for your time, Selma City Council and City Manager Jimenez. Yes, we just wanted to introduce ourselves, our mission, and go over some of the things in our mural. And City Clerk Reina Rivera will show imagery, I believe, to you all in the Zoom as I speak. There we go. So again, thank you, City of Selma, for having us present today. My name is Selena Martinez-Mack. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm co-founder and executive director of the 559 Mural Project. I'm originally from Selma, and I currently live in the Bay Area. I have my supportive team here on this call, which is my co-founder, Chief Operations Officer, Serena Renee Resendez, our marketing and PR director, Kiana Louise Salazar, and our partner artists, which include Brandy News Viegas, of Fresno, Michaela Gutierrez of Visalia, and Nikki Jimenez of Selma. And Brandy is representing the artist, and she can answer any questions regarding technical aspects of the art. And of course, we have Jose Moreno, who partnered with us on this amazing project to help us be that person to connect us with the Salazar Center and the Boys and Girls Club. Before moving any further, I'd like to take this moment as we practice the land acknowledgement, that the indigenous land that we are on. I'm based in San Mateo, as I said, and I'm currently on Ojalón Ramaytush, unceded lands. Where you are all at in Fresno County, you are on Yoctas unceded ancestral homelands. And Kiana Louise Salazar is currently in New York City, and she is on Lenape unceded ancestral territories. I just want to give you a brief overview of our mission. The goal of our work is to educate the community about our unequal systems that create communities of systems that create drastic and desperate inequities in our communities, in particular communities of color. That being said, we hope that the murals will become a living part of the community and act as reminders and catalysts for the public to develop creative solutions to move the needle forward on change. We are trying to activate change not only through mural art, but through community dialogue. So that is our mission, and we present to you Educate to Elevate, that we would love to paint at the Salazar Community Center with your approval. So we are open now to, I'll just give you the quick theme of the mural, and then we can go into any questions. Again, our mural is entitled Educate to Elevate, or Elevamos con Educación. The theme is fourfold: promoting education, honoring farm workers, interweaving cultural symbols of Mexican Americans and Mexicans, and lastly, highlighting the ongoing fight for social justice and equity. And yeah, with that, you have our application that further details the symbolism. If you have any questions about the art and our requests, we're happy to answer those questions.
Council have any questions for Serena at this time?
I do.
Or Selena, me or Serena, or Kiana, or Brandy.
Selena or Serena, thank you for that clarification.
Yes, I do. Actually, I have a daughter, Selena, and my daughter-in-law, Serena. So, yeah, I do have, they're not necessarily concerns, but one of the things that was on the staff report had to do with, you know, this poem, that there will be flexibility, but I'd like to really see if we can work with the attorney on the statement and what's put on there, because it is going to be representing of the city, you know, and so we do want to make sure that our city's mission statement is not in violation, or, you know, we're not showing something that the city is not, that is not in line with the mission statement for the city. One of the other things that I had questions on was on the UFW logo. Is that copyrighted?
Right. That is possible.
Because yeah, then it becomes intellectual
right
law. So and I know they're very stringent on you know, their logo. And
right,
so
you're right. That we would have to.
Is concerning of, and I love this because this is my stomping grounds, and you know, as being born in Mexico, you know, this is very important to me to show my Mexican roots. But yeah, those are the concerns that I have.
Definitely. I have not reached out, or we have not reached out to the United Farm Workers Union about using their intellectual property on our mural. And that is something I can follow up with. And of course, you know, they're, you know, a big organization. That's something they could completely deny that use of. And so at that point, we can think about altering that logo. I would have to talk to my team to discuss
because then
what the alternative is.
Yes, then that puts the city at a liability. So we don't want to, you know,
yeah.
I've
I
been hearing
understand.
about this and
a good point.
researching and doing my homework. I want to make
Right.
sure that we're cognizant of that.
Definitely. Yes, that is something I can look into and get a response to this, to Raina, I guess, or
Yeah, Raina, and then she could forward it to the city attorney.
Okay.
And then on the attachment regarding the agreement, I noticed that there was a lot of pencil, like overwriting. And so are we going to get a clean copy of the agreement if we move forward with this?
yeah, so with the agreement with the artists, the 559 Mural Project Production and Copyright Joint Ownership Management Agreement, I had met the lead artist, that's who we have the contract with, Michaela Gutierrez, and I typed up as much as I could before meeting her in person and did not retype it. I typed my initials that I had made a change in the agreement for the payment for our meetings that we had. And then,
oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, no, and then just going, that's pay, I don't have this page, but then the other written in was like the commission, if we sold, had a fundraiser and t-shirts, what she would make that. So we negotiated that in person. And so that's why I had it written in. And then for the date when we would start it, I had to be put to be determined because this process of getting approval, and I didn't know what the time frame would be. So that's why I put TBD.
And then just on page 2 of the agreement, which would be page 6 of the actual agreement, the agenda, is there is language in here about the mural intellectual property. So you do have that for your protection. There is a title about other intellectual property, but yeah, I just want to make sure that, again, we don't put the city in liability.
Are you, sorry, I want to make sure I understand this. You're asking that the creativity of the artist, what they created here, yes.
Yes,
We
this
have
is your
intellectual,
yes.
but
Yeah.
for others, I understand like using someone else's like the UFW or something else that could potentially create a problem for the city for liability using something that we did not get permission for. Yes, and that's I think that's what we have also in our contract.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
If I could, Mayor Robertson, member of City Council, if the FW is a concern, I think the best thing to do would be is we will not sign the application. If you wanted to, if it is approved, then I would assistance or interim city manager would require me to provide the proof that they have the license prior to that signing. That's one way we could avoid having to come back
or a
and
written
answering
release,
your question to make sure it's
or a written release from the UFW.
correct.
Right.
Or something showing that it's not going to be used at all.
Correct.
Right. And that's something, yeah. And I can also reach out to our lawyer as well for
Thank you.
helping us to navigate this.
Okay, good.
Selena, I have a question. On page 80, you state here that you did reach out to the Salazar family.
Yes.
To get the approval to put their grandson on here. And then, so the picture of the little girl, if I'm correct, is this Samantha Media Cruz?
Yeah, so that was, we are in the process to officially get permission from the Salazar Center. We've only had verbal, and I'm going to be there in person to get our legal documentation for the family to sign for the Salazar family. And for as far as Samantha Cruz Pedro's family, I've already made contact, and I'm meeting them this week to continue the conversation and to get that official approval on legal documentation.
Okay.
And then,
And if that's something the city wants to see, I don't.
Director Kirster, you said that there would be some waiver if the city waived something in this case. What would it be waiving by approving this?
The mural application states that the mural that's presented to the Arts Council has to remain the same. You can't make any changes because there was concern when City Council approved this that they wanted the final product to be approved. And so no modifications should be done afterwards that might embarrass the city or be, kind of inappropriate. So the waiver is, as you saw in those three, is one is changing the children potentially to the Salazar son and then the other daughter. The other was they talked about slight modifications to maybe the color, the birds. Any kind of modification is technically, they need a waiver or a policy revision from you. Policy would state if you wanted to make a change, you would have to go back to the Arts Council with the revision prior to painting it. That was city council back then, just being very cautious, making sure it's understood what the mural was going to be on.
You're saying any changes as opposed to just the minor changes that
Correct.
are noted in here. Okay. On the intellectual property, I had a question for the 559 folks. What if the city wanted to take a picture of this mural and put it on its website, or somebody took a picture of it and posted it somewhere around on the city website or, you know, Instagram page? Is that something that the city can do? Because it is on city property, or is the intellectual property copyright, does that preclude the city from reproducing any images, even if it's not making money off of those images?
Great question. Thank you. And sorry, who asked that question? I'm
It was
sorry.
Scott Robertson.
Hi, Mayor. So yes, thank you for asking that question. As in the contract, the copyright of the IP belongs to the 559 and the artist equally. If you're not profiting with the intent of profiting, like putting on merchandise or social media, because it's a public art, then that's okay. However, after consulting with our lawyer, because you are a Cinti entity, we would, even if you put it on your website and you're not, even though you're not profiting, it would really be great for us if we can have it in writing to share that license with you, to license it to the city, even if you're just using it on your website and not profiting. And that's something I can follow up with our lawyer to draft.
Even if it's a incidental picture that someone just posts or, you know, in an email or a chat?
Within the city or just anybody from
If
the
it appears, you know, if it appears somewhere on a city website or a city sponsored social media page, would the city have liability for that?
Yeah, I consulted with our lawyer and he is recommending that we get a license contract with the city in that case, even though you're not profiting, we might have to change it.
Okay, maybe we could put that into writing just so the city's crystal clear.
Yeah.
Attorney Lerner, would that be a better thing to have it nailed down in writing?
It's always better to have it nailed down in writing. So
What the city can and can't do in
yes,
terms of reproducing the image?
absolutely.
And then will the Boys and Girls Club kids be helping you with the painting?
That is our intent, to reach out. We have been in communication with the unit director and we have reached out. And again, she has her supervisors to have to okay that. So we will reach out when it's all ready and we have our insurance. And that was another topic of conversation, is the insurance, who we would use, both or yours or ours, for liability once we are interacting with children on the city property.
And the city's not paying for this, right? The city's not paying the 3,500. It's just providing the palette, the canvas, as it were.
Yep, the city is not. We're not asking the city for money. We're a nonprofit. We are going to the community and asking for grants to help pay for this endeavor.
And in the restoration account, I noticed if there's graffiti, if there's damage to the mural, how much is there in the restoration account for you folks to take care of that? Or will you be expecting Selma's Public Works to take care of that? What are the allocations there?
I guess it's negotiable. We have it in our contract for us to raise the money that to account for that, and for the city to have a preference for the artist that painted it, that you hire them at $75 an hour to fix it, and that the Fresno Arts Council is our fiscal sponsor. and that they would manage that money. And so I think we have 5% of what we raise would be in reserves to fix it,
Okay.
that we would take care of.
Okay. And then if you know, God forbid, there's a loss and it's an act of God and there is no more mural, what are the expectations of the 559, that it gets replaced or that it just doesn't get replaced if it's damaged, you know, beyond
I think
where it should be, where you can even recognize it?
right, there's a in our contract we have, I can't pronounce the word, force majeure, where some calamity, disaster happens, then no one really is at fault of replacing it, I believe.
Will the poem be in
item
Spanish as
11.
well?
Sorry?
Will the poem be in Spanish as well as English?
That was the intent. I will have to reach out to our poet because we did not submit it in Spanish. It is
Because you have one, Sueña en grande, nunca olvides tus raíces. So that's.
that will be in Spanish. That will be in Spanish. Sorry, I wasn't
Will it
sure.
also
what
be
you
in
were-
English?
Sorry, I wasn't sure. Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry,
right. I was asking about the poem, but will this be in English as well or just Spanish?
That will be in Spanish.
Okay.
Sorry, is this still Mayor Robertson?
Yeah. It's Mayor Roberts.
Okay, sorry, I can't.
Batting away.
Someone else was talking. There we go. Now I can see. Sorry. Yes, Sueña en grande will. That is not the poem. Sorry to confuse you. That's just a brief.
I know that.
Wanted.
No. I know that.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. 2 questions. So the poem will also be in Spanish, and will you translate this into English? The Sueña en grande, the dream big and never forget your roots. Will that be in English as well, or just in Spanish?
The intent was just in Spanish. The poem was supposed to be like bilingual, but we only have the English translation. Like it was supposed to be some words in English, some words in Spanish, but we only have the English version.
I like that last line and number 10, which the neighborhood kids will appreciate because, you know, 2 that are near and dear to my heart. My wife, Rose Gallardo Robertson, and council member Sarah Gallardo Guerra, they grew up on Park Street, right down the street from where the mural will go. And they picked in the fields. And I really hope that this encourages kids and inspires kids like they were inspired to do well and come back to their city and give back to their city and help. So I really appreciate the inspirational and the aspirational content of this beautiful mural. As one who has a mural on our business, we firmly believe in the arts and the power of arts to transform our society. So thank you for what you're doing. We just have to get the details down now for the city. Does anyone else have any questions? or
Definitely.
clarifications?
Thank you.
We have a question in the audience tonight.
Sorry, can I get a clarification from you, Mayor Robertson?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an opinion or preference that the city has about if something's in Spanish or English? Because we are here to also listen and want to see what your feedback is, if you're allowed or want to.
I'm good in both,
Would
but
like
that would
with
have to
both.
be, is there a consensus for the council to have it in both?
Both.
Okay.
Because we can do both if that's.
I think there's a consensus on the council to have it in both Spanish and English.
Okay, and that's something we would love to do and have. The thing, if I may, with the request is because when the artists were painting the mock-up and the poem, it doesn't translate well where it can go in the mock-up. And so that's why we were requesting some flexibility, because they need that in-person execution to see how the poem will translate in person and where it should go physically.
And I'm sure there's latitude as long as the spirit of the poem isn't violated.
Right. And how
And the
we
meaning
go
is
about-
captured in both languages.
and the poem won't violate then the sentiment like of the city and what it represents, and how, I guess, will that be determined? Like like when we started, it's a stance that this is a stance on the city or something like.
Yeah,
how-
I mean, I think there's a lot to be done in terms of firming up this contract and getting things put in. And I think that's another part of it, is having the translations for the next time we put this on the agenda.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, okay,
And then we have a question from someone in the audience tonight. Would you like to step up?
sure.
It's a very, Victoria Delgadillo. It's a very, very beautiful and most appropriate mural. The artist always has their work on display. I used to tell my students, you are the artist. You get to choose the palette. You get to choose the colors. You get to choose what to put on there. You are the artist. Yay, Mrs. Delgadillo. That's why we love you. You're such a great teacher. And this is exactly what an art teacher would do, because I was trained as an art teacher in my 39 years working with children, with adults, with college students. And I would just like to say that we have Julio Cesar Chavez right here in town. He's at La Estrella Market. The UFW is right here in town at the Estrella Market. I was there at the opening. I sat there in the sun in a hot truck with my father, with my husband, because it was a historical moment. The shipper, Iroquoian Farms, 95,000 acres, baby. So if anybody's gonna say something that I don't know about murals, she's the artist. I was here in town when Vicky Filgus, my teacher, who taught me Mexican culture, and she begged me to go with her to the Catholic Church, St. Joseph's. The mural was shot down because it was Armenian. Well, guess what? I'm Armenian. I resent that mural was shot down by the Catholic priest. My great grandmother came from Armenia to Quebradillas, Puerto Rico. You know, damned if the UFW can't go there, for crying out loud. You just sign a form. Anybody knows that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else have any input on the 559 mural? City Clerk, do we have anyone on the line or on the phone who would like to comment on the mural?
As a reminder to the callers on the line, please raise your virtual hand if you're using Zoom, or if you're calling in, please use *9. At this time, we have no hands raised, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, we'll bring it back. And I think we've decided we're going to just continue this item until we get the contract nailed down a little more with all these questions
If
answered.
that's the consensus of council. You don't need a motion. You can go ahead and just with consensus,
I'm good with it.
continue it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming out and best of luck with everything. We'll see you again.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, everyone. We'll work on
you.
that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then with
Thank
that,
you.
we'll move on to our next item, which is a continued item, consideration and necessary action on resolution declaring an abandoned sign at 1630 Second Street, Selma, California. Report by our Community Development Director, Mr. Santillan.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This item, you might recall, was continued from the May council meeting.
Pardon me, Director, and this is a public hearing item tonight.
That's correct. Back at the in the May meeting, the council granted Mr. Mendrin, who is on the line at the moment, an additional 60 days in the form of a continuation of the public hearing to allow him to progress on his project. Just really briefly, the background on the issue is there's a sign, an abandoned sign on his property on 2nd Street on the, what would be the east side of the 99 that has been abandoned for quite some time. And back in October, the council brought it to a public hearing in order to prompt Mr. Mendrin to remove the sign. And he has been working on a project, on a commercial project on his property, and he intends to use eventually the existing sign poles for a new commercial development, and which is the reason that he hasn't removed the sign as of yet. I have been working very diligently with Mr. Mendrin over the last 60 days to try to get him to submit an application and pay the fees for his project. We've been going back and forth on the site plan. As of today, we have not received an application or a fee, and we are still waiting for a revised site plan. Mr. Mendrin is on the line, as I mentioned, and he can provide some more information as to the causes of the delay. But it is tonight within the City Council's authority to adopt the attached resolution that would allow the city staff to move forward with the abatement of the sign. There is a 15-day required appeal period that we would have to give to the property owner, but the resolution does indicate that he is ordered to remove the sign by September 1st. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions for the director at this time? Did Mr. Mendrin want to make a comment and let us know where he is in this process before we open up the public hearing?
Yes, City Council, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, all.
Good
I'm
evening.
just around the corner getting submitted for the plans itself and pay the fees. I thought I would get there today, but I had some doctor's appointments that I didn't realize that I had today, and I've been out of town as well. So I had arrangements to come in there and see Fernando to pay it and submit it, even though our plans are not completed yet with the new building size and everything, because it was showing 5,000, it's down to 4,000 square foot as well. But I am moving forward.
Okay, what exactly
Valero,
would you be
I've got
paying?
the Valero contract and the Starbucks contract ready to go.
Okay, what exactly would he be paying, Fernando?
So there, with the application, there are several entitlements that would need to be issued. Site plan review, conditional use permit. We would have to process a general plan amendment and a rezone, because my understanding is that he is purchasing the residential property adjacent to the commercial property, which would need to be rezoned for commercial use. And then he would also be requesting a variance to allow for a smaller amount of parking that is required by our zoning ordinance.
And I believe he's going to buy the building behind the structure, so would that have to be rezoned as well, commercial?
Yes, that's, well, the house that's being
The house.
rezoned to commercial, correct.
Fernando, has he purchased it, or is it an escrow, or is it just?
Mr. Mendrin?
He's agreed to sell it. He's just waiting to put it in another house for a 1031 exchange.
Yeah, but did he give you a time frame? You know, because that could take up to 18 months.
No, he didn't. I'll give him a call tomorrow, though. Like I said, I've been out of town for 2 weeks. But I will give him a call tomorrow and see how far along he is. Because we're ready to give him the cash and move forward.
With that, we will open up the public hearing to the public. Would anyone here tonight like to make a comment on this topic? City Clerk, is anyone online or on the phone who would like to make a comment?
To the callers that we have on the line, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, or if you're using Zoom, please raise your virtual hand. Mayor, we have no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. With that, we will close the public hearing.
Mayor, if the
Bring the
council's inclined to continue this matter, again, I recommend you leave the public hearing open for noticing purposes.
Okay, well, that will leave the public hearing open and bring the item back to the council to see if the council would like to grant this person a little additional time to pay his fees and get the process started.
I think we should give him a little bit of time. He looks like he's working on it. It's not like he's been absent, and so that's my opinion.
Okay, how much time? Months, 60 days to pay the fees, pay the application fees. Mr. Mendrin, is 60 days enough time?
Oh,
to
it's more
schedule
than
that
enough.
appointment? Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe we'll probably expect that 60 days, at the end of that 60 days for this to happen.
Right, so if you're going to continue the public hearing, we need a date certain. So are you thinking the second meeting in September? And it would need a motion to continue it to that date.
Is there a motion to continue this
Make a
item?
motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll, please, city clerk, to continue the item to the second city council meeting in September.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes, thank you for phoning in tonight, Mr. Menrin.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, City Council. Fernando, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, looking forward to you following through. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we will go to staff reports. We will start with interim city manager.
Nothing to report today.
Thank you. Our city attorney Lerner.
Nothing to report, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Our community development director, Santillan.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Our assistant city manager, finance director, Moreno.
One item to report today, we did receive our first tranche of the ARP funds received last week.
Do we know how it can be spent?
We're finalizing those guidelines now, so we'll be reporting back to council.
I already received a call today from the public. Mhm. Where is it and how can it be spent? Public Works Director, Shane Farrell. Thank you, sir. Fire Chief Peterson.
Thank you. Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Acting police, interim or acting?
Commander.
But isn't he acting police chief?
No, by virtue of being the commander, he's the second in command.
Okay. Commander Garza.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'd like to invite everybody to our National Night Out that we have planned for August 3rd, which is a Tuesday. This is a great opportunity for the police department and our partners to engage with the community. We're gonna have free food, we're gonna have some games, and just a chance to interact with members of the community. And so I'd like to invite everybody August 3rd. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to participate and have a booth, you can call 896-2525 and ask to speak to Sergeant Holt, and he will be more than happy to get you a spot. Thank you.
Thanks, Commander. Appreciate that. Looking forward to having a national night out again. Awesome. Parks and Community Services Director, Mike Kirschner.
One item after we sent out the weekly reader, just let you know, PG&E sponsored a grant for the city of Selma for $5,000. And they're going to be sponsoring our senior resource fair, which is going to be held in October this year. So part of the media is to put the PG&E name out there. So I'd like to recognize PG&E. So we are moving it from September to October for those involved. It'll be closer to like healthcare signups and stuff. So it'll actually be better timing for the vendors.
All right. Thanks for that report. With that, we'll go to council committee reports. Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
I have a couple of things. One is I'm excited for the National Night Out because I participated as a property manager in a lot of the properties that I had. Sanger has a really good one, so I'm hoping that we can outdo them because they have everybody come out. I know that we have one at our property at the Cueva de Oso, Shockley Terrace. I know we're having one there as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I did have an introductory meeting with the developer, Ed Cashin, a couple weeks ago, and I'm really excited to hear what his vision is for the city of Selma. So I'm really excited. I hope we can, start a venture with him. So I'm really excited for that. I was invited to a Central Valley Leadership Dinner that consisted of a couple planning commissioners from, one from Coalinga, one from Hanford, and then a council member from Coalinga, and also with Senator Hurtado. And so one of the things that we talked about was the water issues, here in the valley. And also we talked about the available funding that is, coming up with the ARP monies. And so it's basically I was invited because it's a meeting of the minds, basically, like all of the community leaders, a lot of their ideas, what they have for their cities, how we can work together to have a stronger voice in our state capital. And so I'm really excited, and it's they invited me back, so I'm gonna keep going as long as they invite me. I attended the virtual zoning meeting, which was really a good opportunity to hear about the different zoning and what the community would like in our areas, which is also going to help our developers, whoever wants to come on board. I just had a question on what the timeline is for once we start, the zoning. Do you have that?
So the entire project, which is grant funded, we're hoping to have it completed by this time next year.
Okay.
We are having the community workshop in September, and then, as the council might be aware, a joint planning commission and city council meeting as well. So it's moving along, but by this time next year, I hope to have it adopted.
Perfect. I'm excited because, like I said, I had a really good meeting with Mr. Cashin, so I'm really excited with that. And then I'm really sad that I was not able to attend any of the Little League games. My niece's quinceañera got postponed because of COVID, and it turned into a Sweet 16. So I was out in Delray celebrating her 16th birthday, and so I wasn't able to attend. And that's basically all I have to report today.
Thank you. Councilmember Trujillo.
First of all, I attended the Little League baseball game, and Mr. Mayor, congratulations. It was 107. You look like you were fresh, but it felt 130. It was really hot. Mayor Pro Tem was fanning me off, and it was a great job. Good job.
Nice day there.
Yes, it was. Also had a meeting with Ed Cashin. This is a really special, it was a special meeting because this individual carries a lot of knowledge in Fresno, and he's a game changer. I was very pleased to be invited to have a meeting with me and Councilwoman Mendoza Navarro. That was really nice. And also I've been having some meetings with local members of our community. The CARES Act is really calling our names, and we have individuals in our community that are very wanting to invest. And I'm waiting for all the information in regards to the guidelines. That is going to be the major topic. Probably should be one of the topics we put on our city council meeting, so we can have that discussion, so we can understand the knowledge and the pros and cons to that. In regards to agenda items, I have a request. I would like to see if we could put on the agenda redistricting, see where we're at, and get some information in regards to that. Also, term limits. Those two items, I know that the next 18 months, we're going to be, it's going to be coming up really quick to us. So those are things that I'd like to put on the agenda and let us know where we stand, what we're doing about it, and what's the financial impact. Thank you.
If I may, Mayor and council members, our first public hearing for redistricting will occur during the next council meeting.
Good.
So on August 2nd, we will have a council meeting with our consultants here, or via Zoom, I should say, to provide information regarding districting. We also will have a special presentation from the folks over at the census to provide us with an update.
Member Guerra.
The only thing I attended was the SKF, and it was really nothing to report. I mean, that was a 15-minute meeting. That was the fastest meeting I've ever attended, but so I have really nothing to bring back. And then I'd like to mention that Ross opened on Saturday. Did everybody get to go? or Friday. Well, that's a great thing. Everybody said there was so packed. I mean, there was lines, so I didn't get to make it, but I'll try to make it tomorrow. And then I
Up
did
for
get
last time.
to, on a personal note, I did get to celebrate our 20-year in business with Robertson Guerra up in the coast area where it was freezing cold. We got away from this hot heat, but it was really nice. So other than that, that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I was able to actually go to the Little League park to see. This was so neat to see all these teams. They're so proud, you know, and if they won a banner, they walked into the field and hold the banner. So, you know, very happy to be able to have, you know, facility that we can, you know, let the kids go out and, you know, learn how to be, you know, be a team, you know, win if they can, you know, but still support each other. So that was a really good, and it was really hot. You're right. I did attend a meeting. It was a 5-city meeting. Usually it's all our, includes Fowler, Kingsburg, Parlier, Sanger, Selma, let's see, Orosi, and then the county of Fresno. And there was a couple that did not come. There was not a whole lot of, usually at the end, we did say, you know, each city we get to tell what's happening. And Fowler only said there was the KB Homes developments in there. Parler's saying that they're celebrating 100 years celebration September 18th to the 19th. They are working on a grant, and I think we each got an email on it, and we're supposed to do a letter of support. It's a $2.5 million, and it's going to go toward the cities, our cities, to help the small businesses. So, so I think our city is going to send in that support, which is what we need to do. On a lighter note, I did attend a musical play that was presented by Art Center this weekend. It's called Heads Over Heel. They're really talented people. If you want something to, you know, forget the world for a little while, just go out there, sit down and let these people sing to you. It's really, I know, it's just kind of nice to be able to see something light again. You know, the world's too serious. It's been too serious. It's time to go out and just relax and enjoy it. So they will be playing again this weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It starts at 8, I think. And then, and like I say, that the people are very talented. It'd be really worth your while to go and have a nice evening out. Okay. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was nice going to that Little League tournament. A hot day, like the hottest of the year, but those kids were so dedicated, along with their parents who were there and sat through and cheered on their kids every single game. So I was really, really proud of everyone, especially our Selma youth, who are very good and conducted themselves very well too. They made us proud in every way. I had lunch with the executive officer of LAFCO, David Fye, who's been here to conduct LAFCO 101. He wanted to let me know that he's leaving LAFCO at the end of the year. He's moving on to other things. I think there's a search committee that's been formed, and there'll be a new executive officer here chosen in the next several months. When I hear, I'll certainly let council know. Nice to see Cal Water's generous donation of turnouts to the Selma Fire Department. Very nice. It's nice to see them out in very hot weather in those turnouts, you know, to have that photo with Cal Water and very generous. I also had lunch with a local developer, Baldeep Josan, and his son, who are working on some property here in Selma and some annexation issues. I attended a Calvans board meeting, and yeah, once that contract, speaking of second chance, since it was brought up, once that contract comes out from the city, it'll certainly be a board meeting with second chance that will be called, where it will be discussed, and it definitely will be discussed that one of the council members here wanted to cut off funding to second chance, which never happened before, and that may or may not affect the way the second chance animal shelter decides or doesn't decide to continue with the provision of those services. And with that, we will go back to oral communications. Would anyone like to make a comment at this time? Come on up.
General's office and pull up Selma Cares? I have it in my phone if you can't. Is there a way to put it on the screen to show
I don't know if I can.
the reports?
I don't know if
Okay,
I'm gonna start the timer.
I can sit. Thank you kindly. Victoria Delgadillo, in 2012, my husband had two bypass surgeries in his heart. My husband was born with a congenital heart valve, meaning he was born that way. He had to have 2 surgeries. I also found out that I had cancer. I had 14 operations. My husband had 2 operations. The second one said he may not survive it. No one helped me with my cancer expenses. No one. Not in this city. Not by Selma Cares. Nobody. I am shocked and mortified to know that we have these supposedly items that help cancer patients in our city. I have been told many people go to Selma Cares for help and don't receive help. And that is shameful. That's criminal. People who are using our donations for their benefit, or buying properties, or going to the coast, or spending on their whatever, I have no idea because there's no reports since 2014, 2016. And I am beside myself because Shar Tucker is the person responsible for that. It is criminal. She has not filed the application for a nonprofit. And I don't know who else on these commissions is using our funds illegally, criminally, and you guys are not doing anything about it. I'm compelled, therefore, to contact Lisa Schmidtkamp, the district attorney, the Attorney General's office.
Thank you, Ms. Delgadillo, for your comments.
Thank you kindly.
Does anyone else have anything they would like to say for oral communications?
Teresa Salas, 1701 Dinuba Avenue. I just wanted to take a minute to thank our city council members and our mayor. You are elected to represent the city, and you're not elected to take abuse, rudeness, or disrespect from anyone. I think that you guys are doing what you feel is best for our community, for our city, for your districts. And I thank you for the effort that you're doing. You're not getting paid an astronomical amount of money to do what you do. And I just wanted to thank you all. Councilmember Mendoza Navarro, you in particular, you wouldn't be sitting up there if you didn't win the election. And we've been through that many times, lots of other city council meetings. And the legal fees that were paid were to defend your seat, not you personally. And I just, for people to be allowed to come up here and disrespect anyone, I just think it's wrong. I think that the council, the mayor, the attorney, whoever is in charge and conducting this meeting should not allow that to happen. I have listened to all the council meetings online, and I have been here when I can. And it just seems like it's happening very frequently lately. And I just really am embarrassed that someone from outside of our community is tuning into this and seeing and hearing that disrespect to you all. Because it's not just Councilman Navarro, it's not just the mayor, it's not just, because it could be happening to any one of you. And I would be standing here defending all of you because I know what you are doing is not an easy job. And I thank you for that.
Thank you.
You.
Anyone else like to say anything at this time? City Clerk, do we have anybody on the phone or online who would like to make some last oral communications tonight?
To the caller that we have on the line, as a reminder, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, or calling by Zoom, please raise your virtual hand if you have any comments for council at this time. Mayor Robertson, we have no hands raised at this time.
Okay, with that, we'll bring it back. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to.
This meeting is adjourned.